Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial net center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzon, giving you an all-access pass to the big stories in politics and in the polity. Let's begin with the headlines. All Progressives Congress coast home to victory, wins significant seats across the 16 constituencies as declared by INEC. Opposition cry foul, set to challenge outcome. An independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, opens portal for new voters and for registered voters who intend to sort out issues around their PVCs, addresses, and even damage to their cards. Thanks again for joining us on the program. It was quite an eventful weekend, especially for those who are political watchers and politicians across board. 16 constituencies, 2 federal, that is 2 senatorial, 9 states federal constituency, and 5 state constituencies were up for grabs, and there was a result. I'm going to reel out that result. Before we get to all of that, and that is going to be the focal point of our conversation today. But let's tell you what we consider to be your basic civic responsibility. INEC has now opened the portal for continuous voter registration, and this is open to persons who are either 18 years, for those who didn't vote in the last election because they were underage or ineligible voters. This is your chance. So this is your civic responsibility, it's your obligation to go out there and to any of the INEC offices in your local government area to get yourself sorted and get registered. But there is a pre-registration before you get your card. But remember what INEC said. So for those who have issues around their PVCs in terms of damages and every other thing that has, I want to be sure, okay, collect or transfer of the PVC, so you are change address, or your PVC was damaged, or multiple registration, anything that has to do with this very card that helps you to vote and be voted for in elections. This is the opportunity to get to any INEC office and get yourself sorted. Phone numbers are out there. But let me walk you through the pre-registration process, especially for new voters who are young people, maybe just turning 18. So my producer is going to give you that slide. If you, at some point, they're going to bring that slide up to me for us to see the process itself of, if you go online, to see how you can, tap through. You go to cvr.inecnigeria.org. I think that is the exact address you can go to. I want to be double sure. So you get there, you do all of the, yes, I'm correct, www.cvr, which means continuous voter registration.inec. Yes, there we have it. So you can go back. Let's go back, guys. This is where you go to INEC portal, and you click on that INEC portal. It takes you to the next page. Oh dear, I wish this will just follow my pace, by the way. Yeah, you click that. It welcomes you to the page, and then you get started. Then if you scroll up further, you see start registration, and then it can take you to several pages, So beneath what you're seeing, yes, this point now, it takes you down to where you can fill in your email address, and all of that. But for the new voters, there's a registration just beneath all of this that you can fill in several other information that is required. But the most important information I'm trying to pass across here is just go to cvr.inecnigeria.org and you'll be guided. It's quite an easy process. You get into the first page, it tells you get started and all of that. So do the work of being part of the entire electoral process as this is concerned. Okay, and from there, let's get to the by-elections that had happened. I told you 2 senatorial districts, 9 federal constituencies, and 5 state constituencies. Now, by-elections are basically elections for people that have resigned who are legislators or, unfortunately, they passed on. So let's bring in the very first set. The big ones are the senatorial district, if my producer can get me that. We have from Anambra State, we have been won by APGA, they call it APUGA. Anambra State was won by the All Progressives Grand Alliance. I wish we can get the main slide of the winners of that election particularly, but you can see Anambra South Senatorial District, Abga. Yes, this is one I'm looking for. Yes. You know, this is the upper legislative chamber. So Emmanuel Nwachukwu, Anambra South, and Joseph Ikpe, Edo Central. So these are the men. So the man to your, I think that should be your own right, is going to be coming in place of the late Ifeanyi Uba. And then the man to your left, I suppose, will be coming in place of the now governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo. But if we go to other results, the producer is going to be running you through all of them. So you're going to see several other results across. There were even upsets in places that were strongholds. This is Kano, I beg your pardon. So APC won one, and then NNPP won here. And it's NNPP won one, and then APC won one from the results you're seeing on your screen. So we will go on and on as for the results. So the numbers are just going to be changing. Well, everybody was on the lookout for the ADC, but people are saying it's an early day to expect so much from the ADC as far as this election is concerned. They are trying to even get their acts together, but they made it showing, sometimes even better than the Labour Party. So federal constituencies, 9 of them, 5 state constituencies, and 2 senatorial seats. APC, I understand, won about 12 out of the 16. That's about 75%. Now, there's been argument as to how that victory came, but we're telling you result as declared by INEC. And one of the things about these results is to the effect that the turnout for elections like this is super, super low, unfortunately. I think, for instance, the Anambra South Senatorial District election, we have over 800 registered voters, just barely over 100,000. 800,000 registered voters, just barely about over 100,000 came out to cast their ballots as far as that is concerned. We can also tell you that the President Bola Tinubu, has congratulated all winners of Saturday's by-election in the 16 constituencies across the 12 states. The President also commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for the hitch-free election, mostly devoid of violence. According to a statement by spokesman Bayo Nanuga, President Bola Tinubu congratulated the new APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawa Yawata, for the first victory recorded under his leadership. The congratulatory message also extended to the governors of the APC and other leaders on the success of the elections. President Tinubu commended all political parties and their candidates who participated in the election and enjoined them to continue to be guided by the spirit of sportsmanship, fair contest, and magnanimity, which are enablers of enduring democracy. Well, in focus on today's conversation will be what played out in Anambra State. There was a senatorial election as well as a state constituency election, all won by Abga. But this video we're showing you, I'm going to allow you to listen to what came out between the deputy governor of Anambra State and the governorship candidate of All Progressives Congress in the coming election. Take a listen.
Are you a candidate? Which guy buying the party? What do you mean by that? Are we not talking with mouth? Can't you talk with your mouth? What is your problem? No, excuse me. No, are you a candidate? Are you a candidate? Are you a candidate? Everybody clap. Even you are not going anywhere. Nobody is moving. I will burn your cars here. You are not going anywhere. You are not going anywhere. Line me up. Line me up. Did you say we cannot be here? You cannot be here. You have no business to be here. A deputy governor, not an election. You are deputy governor. You cannot go. You're not police. You think you're not police? Are you police? Why are you going? It's our community. So you have to go to every community. I'm a police. I can be my community police. How? Jesus Christ. Let's say.
Well, call it, is it show of power now? I don't know what to say, but I understand it happened at a place called Ezinifite in Anambra State, where the APC governorship candidate, we understand, according to the stories that were filed in that, he had gone around, maybe showing support for his people. But, when it comes to election, you're not supposed to move beyond your polling unit, no matter who you are. The only people that are supposed to move are people like us, who are journalists, the police, the electoral umpire themselves, INEC. No matter your status, you're supposed to be at your polling unit because that day is about to ensure there's neutrality. So we understand the APC governorship candidate was moving around with security and all of that, and a couple of other people perhaps uncomfortable to do a distress call. And that's why the deputy governor came in. So that is the APC governorship candidate's zone, according to what we understand, but that's not the zone of the deputy governor. So you see that face-off where he said, I'm not going to let you move beyond here, and even made a threat that he's going to burn down the deputy governor's car, and all those quite unfortunate statements that were made back and forth. But let's bring in our guests who will be breaking down for us what played out. Anambra election is always a very tough election. So let me bring in the senatorial candidate, the Young Progressives Party senatorial candidate in this election that held just a few days ago on Saturday, Prince Okoli. He joins us virtually from Anambra State. Mr. Okoli, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm hoping that Ejimofo Obara, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, will be able to join us on the program. Let's make sense of what played out as far as the elections are concerned. I know you were not in that situation that we just watched now, but what do you make of it before we talk about what your ratings are and your understanding of what played out on Saturday in your senatorial district?
Well, it's a show of shame, rather unfortunate, and that's not what we are preaching at the YPP. We are trying to change the narrative away from what you just saw out there. Our politics is refined, and we try to stay on course from the point of law. Yes.
So let's talk about the election. I would like to begin generally with your own assessment. So I have the results here. APGA 90,408. That's Emmanuel Nwachukwu. And then you had the APC candidate, 19,847 votes. And then you came a distant 6,538 votes. What happened?
Well, the 6,538 votes that you saw is what I call the organic, genuine voters that came and exercised their franchise. We are still studying it, and my party is yet to take a position. So I'll just deal with it on first lift. What happened in Anambra on Saturday is a heavily financially induced election. It has never been known that a voter is paid over 20,000 to 15,000, to cast their vote. So that is what transpired. I would like to leave it at that. So when we are done and take a position as a party, I can make further categorical statements. Yes. But what I do know is that the elections were marred with heavy financial inducement. Yes, from APGA and APC. Thank you.
So I know we had a conversation with the national chairman of your party, Bishop Amakri, earlier this morning, and of course similar concerns were raised as well. But the reason why I had to bring you in is to the fact that this is perhaps the biggest stronghold of the YPP, and you were beaten in this election. Is it that you are not aware that these are the things that actually usually play out in election? These allegations of voter inducement for subversion of the will of the people, because if you bring APGA here, they're going to say we didn't spend any money. If I bring APC here, they're going to say, no, we didn't do all of that. But we see these things happening at the end of the day. So what was the strategy if you were familiar with how this game is played, sadly and disgracefully as it is played most of the time in some of our spaces?
Well, you are an investigative journalist. I expect that just like this video you showed was sent to you, reports were filed in, I expect that you also find out from your sources what actually transpired on the field. Now, having said that, it's not news that YPP has a stronghold on the South. We won senatorial elections twice, 2 federal House seats, 3 state assembly. I mean, you will agree with me that it reflects the true will and the true, mindset of the people, the electorates in that zone. Now, the economic realities in Nigeria today is not what you had a few years ago, okay? So how many people are going to resist 15,000 naira to get their vote? So my point is, the bulk of the blame or the reality should go to the electorate. They made their choice of selling their rights for mere 15,000, 20,000 as against good governance, as against what they know. YPP, using Ifeanyi Uba as our point man in the previous elections, has proven that we are about service to humanity. The brief time Ifeanyi was in the Senate, he proved that he was about the people. He was about humanitarian services and all that, accountability, transparency, bringing down his scorecard to the people. He's always engaging with them. So I wouldn't want to say much, like I said. It's still a very delicate time. I'm sensitive to the things I say because I'm sure most of them will also, be scrutinized in the law court. Yes.
Suspecting by any chance that you may be heading to court after this election? Is that what you're trying to say without trying to say it? It
will not be entirely my decision. I say that again. At the party level, the party leadership is still computing, looking at all what happened. And then the legal department will advise. And of course, I'm a party man. I'll be bound by decisions of my party. I'm not holding the mandate as for public. I'm holding it in trust for the people, for the party. Yes.
All right, before we head out for a quick break and come back to continue the conversation, let me ask you, the APC members, both supporters and loyal members, card-carrying members, they've been celebrating. The president has generally thanked everybody and celebrated his party as well as everyone who won in their different constituency. So we're hoping we could get Abga, who had committed to come in, but anyway, maybe that's for another day. But I did ask him some questions before the break, and that's to the effect that in celebration of their victory, the APC is saying this is clear-cut evidence that the APC is accepted across board. They won 75% of the entire seats, which came to about 12 out of 16. A great result for them. So there are debates over that victory, but as far as this is concerned, they are the winners. And they are saying this is a show, or this is a sign that President Tinubu is accepted across board. Mr. Colley, I wanted you to respond to that.
Well, I'm a party man, right? And what I cannot tell you is what transpired in Edo or other areas that these elections are also the by-elections happened. I would like to restrict myself to Anambra South, where I voted, where I observed most of the proceedings. But I do not entirely agree with all the policies, especially economic policies of Mr. President. But I will say one thing. The local government financial autonomy, I did a thumbs up for him on that. I've also publicly said that I'm impressed with his position on that. And then the tax reform, that will be it for now. On the election of the views of the people, I have not heard from people on this other part where the elections took place. So I wouldn't want to comment on that. Yes.
Okay, so as we begin to wind down in this conversation, should this be like a precursor to what may play out in Anambra State in the November election, given what has played out? Because I understand that Governor Chukwuma Soludo said he beats them silly. There's no ADC, there is no Labour Party here. He's not even mentioning your party in the first place in his conversation. He said, look, this is literally home run to show that we are solid and strong as far as Apuga, as they like to call it, is concerned in Anambra. Is that what you see on ground?
Well, the governor is entitled to his opinion. But what I do know is that Anambra definitely deserves better in terms of security, in terms of economic empowerment. We definitely deserve better. The security situation in Anambra is alarming. The senseless killings and all that. Is that something to celebrate about? So of course, I do not expect that, you will say otherwise. You know, I mean, Anambra people are going. I would like also for us. We are in the 20s already. The campaigns are on. The Anambra will need to know. They will ask questions and they will get answers. You know, to what's happening to the state of the nation, security, economic, the IGR generated. Was it being put to use and all? So we'll get to that conversation. You know, definitely. We'll get to that conversation. I, for one, will start campaigning it that Anambra definitely deserves better. Exactly.
All right, even the network may not want us to continue the conversation, but I must thank you so much, Prince Okoliegbo, the senatorial candidate for the Anambra South senatorial district election that just happened on Saturday. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Let's bring you more stories now. Following the heavy rainfall and flooding in PoliticsToday local government area of Yobe State, the State Emergency Management Agency, in partnership with the National Emergency Management Agency, has released a report on assessment of the situation. Preliminary findings from the assessment indicate that one death was recorded with 2,634 individuals affected in the 14 communities. The federal and Yobe State government, through the SEMA and NEMA, reaffirmed their commitment to timely disaster response, transparency, and support to the households in distress, ensuring that affected persons receive the necessary assistance to rebuild their lives. According to the Executive Secretary of Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, over 600 displaced persons who sought temporary shelter at Sabongari Primary School have benefited from the state government's intervention. The Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, also indicated that the Maiduguri Operations Office has been activated for easy deployment of men and materials. Let's also tell you that the chairman of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Shehu, has announced the commencement of the process for the review of revenue allocation formula. The chairman of the commission, who made the announcement at the news conference, notes that the review has become necessary following the current economic reality since it was last reviewed in 1992. Under the current revenue formula, the federal government should share about 52%. That's the FAC allocation now. 52.6%, 26.7% for the state government, and 20.6% for the local government, while 1% is allocated each to the Federal Capital Territory, Ecological Funds, Natural Resources, and the Stabilization Fund under the vertical revenue allocation. So we may be seeing a bit of a change because we know that the states have been making a case to the fact that they do a lot of heavy lifting, so they should actually get a bigger share of the pie as far as the federation is concerned. So that meeting is ongoing. How long it will take, I do not know, but what will come out will eventually report to you. But before we end the program, let's get back to the CVR issue. Remember that INEC has begun the CVR, that's continuous voter registration, nationwide today for new voters, persons who are doing collection, they are transferring their PVCs, or their PVCs have been damaged, or they have multiple registration. Today is the day for you to start that entire process, but especially for the new registration, there's what they call the online pre-registration begins today. So let's get there now, the www.cvr.inecnigeria.org. So if you go this way, you see first come up to you, you get started, and then you scroll up, and then you click on start registration, I guess, and then from there you see everything you have to input to do this online. So you can see new portal users, you can fill in there. The other part, I guess, is for the people who have already been registered, who want to sort out a thing or two as far as this is concerned. Well, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.